Sports update. Last night, the 19th ranked Gators set a program record for the team's largest SEC road win in history by defeating the South Carolina Gamecocks 95-48. Thomas Houck led the scoring with 18 points, while center Ruben Chinyelu tallied yet another 14-point, 11-assist double-double. It's 57 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Does today feel like Friday for anyone else, or is it just me?
It does kind of feel like that. And I feel, even yesterday when I got home, I kept thinking it was Thursday yesterday, and I don't know why, but it feels shifted, and I'm not totally sure why.
Yeah,
I love Thursday afternoons.
I do, too.
I love Thursday happy hour, roll right into the nighttime, and then here comes Friday, you know? It's like, I don't know, to me, that's when it all starts.
When I was in college in Gainesville, they had an 8 seconds, like they used to have in Jacksonville, but I think the one in Gainesville actually might still be around. But on Thursdays, they had $20 all you can drink.
8 seconds.
8 seconds.
It's a bar?
Yeah, it's a country bar. Yeah,
okay.
I've been there.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've line danced in there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing.
Show us. Let me see.
It was a great dance floor. Lots of line dancing.
Big dance floor, yeah.
Big dance floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was $20 all you could drink on Thursdays. And so obviously we would go pretty much every Thursday and get all you can drink and line dance, and it was so much fun. And so I've always loved Thursdays.
Yeah, there was a place downtown we used to go to when I was in like 21, 22, and they had $15 all you can drink on Thursdays. And that was, granted, it was like bottom shelf, but it didn't matter when you're 21. Now I'd be very sick if I drank all of the things, because it was like sweet, like watermelon sour shots and all of that. Now I can't do that. But then you're like, this is great. You pay $15 to get in, you just drink what you want to drink, tip, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
And Thursdays back, when I was playing, like that was great because your friends are coming in on Thursday night. Your family might be coming in. They're all geeked up about the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We're going out to dinner, and then we're going out for a little bit, for a lot of bit. That Thursday night was always a good one for sure.
We also had a place in Gainesville on Tuesdays that was $5 all you can drink Long Island iced tea.
Oh gosh,
that's dangerous.
Yeah,
that's dangerous.
$5 back, $5. But obviously, once you had like 3 or 4, you're like, I don't want to drink another anymore. And to your point, it was like the worst liquor. So I don't think many people got their money's worth.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's how they get it. That's how they do those sort of things, because they know some people are going to it's like a buffet where some people are really going to take advantage of that buffet, and some people have a plate or two and it's done.
Been asked to not go back before with a group.
Really?
Oh yeah. In college, like guys, it was like all you can eat wings, and I was with my offensive and defensive lineman mates. They're eating like 100 or something. I'm not eating nowhere near that. And the manager came over, was like, you guys, you can't.
You're eating us out of house and home.
You can't eat anymore. You gotta leave, and we left.
Did you, as a rookie, have to pay for the meals of the other linebackers?
No, you know why? Because when I was a rookie, I was with the Saints, and I actually got cut, for camp. Mm-hmm. So when I was at the Jags, I was more like a first-year player than a rookie.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You avoided that.
I avoided that whole. I mean, I had to sing for the Saints.
What'd you sing?
I sang "Hungry Heart" by Bruce Springsteen, but I lowered it down a little bit. I'll never forget Vaughn Johnson looking at me and being like, "Sing it, Tom." And I was like, "All right, this is pretty cool."
That was the beginning of your singing career.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. I had no idea. And then I had to shave my head, but I already had a short haircut, so I didn't really care.
If you had to shave your head today, that would be way worse than back then.
Oh, I'd shave it right now if my wife and kids didn't think it'd make me look funny. They're like, no, Dad, you got to have a little bit in front. I'm like, I know. It's the head. Some guys have the perfect shaped head for a buzz cut. You know what I mean? Or being bald or buzz cut or whatever. So, yeah, it's shorter the better for me. Soap, lotion, forget it. I'm done. It's over.
I've never heard of anybody putting lotion, like regular body lotion, in their hair before.
Well, it's like face lotion. So you put lotion on your face, you still got it on your hands, you just rub it through your hair.
Yeah. Simplified.
Yeah, very easy.
It's like the
That's
three,
right.
the shampoo, conditioner, body wash,
All
3
in
in one, and then lotion all in one.
Right. I just use bar soap for that body wash and whatever.
I never went to this happy hour, but there was another one. Gainesville, lots of people
Speaking
drinking
of happy
Gainesville.
hours.
Yeah, there was one where it was 25-cent pitchers.
Oh.
But the moment that someone, it was like starting at 4 or 5 o'clock. But the moment that someone went to the bathroom, that's when it
Oh,
shut off
right.
and it
Yeah,
went
I've heard
back
of
to
that.
normal pricing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Give
college
people
towns can get away with
bladder
that kind of stuff.
infections.
Kids are dumb enough to be like, yeah, $15 all you can eat, Long Island
Sure.
Steak's
You
great.
can't
Let's go
pee
get
all
hammered.
night, but you can drink for free.
It would end up happening very quickly.
Yeah.
And then everybody would boo. And I'm sure it was always a girl,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But
Or
there you
not.
have it. I wanted to ask y'all, since Primetime was talking about cars throughout a lot of their show today, what was your first car, Tom?
So my first, where I actually, it was my car.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had got me for $500 a 77 Caprice Classic. It was a big old car, had a V8 engine. I wrecked
lot
it
of
in 2
horsepower.
weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, I got hit. I was such a dummy. I was going to my girlfriend's house, was in the rain. I thought I could make the lights, and I got killed. My friend was behind me, and I ended up, true story. I didn't have a seatbelt on, so I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. I literally went from the driver's seat. I swung sideways to the passenger seat. My head went a big bubble through and I didn't, by the way, it didn't knock me totally out. That's when I knew I had a really hard head. I got a picture of the Caprice car, the windshield's got a bubble, like shape of my head, like
Oh my
perfect
goodness.
shape of my head. And then I ended up with my head where your feet go and the feet where your head go. And my body's like, oh my gosh. I remember the ambulance. I remember, I didn't feel my legs at first, but then I was fine. I ended up being fine, but yeah, it sucked because it was a great car, and I felt terrible. My dad just gotten it for me for my birthday. My birthday's in July, but he was thankful that I was still around.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Safe.
guessing you don't run red lights anymore.
no, I'm a good driver overall. Yeah,
feel
no,
like
you got to
when
be
something
safe.
like that
I was
happens-
dumb, thinking with the wrong head, and just went through the light and like I got to get there. Like I'll never made like 5 minutes. I couldn't wait 5 minutes at the light, because I'm a dummy.
Thinking about that big back seat in the car.
Yeah, Caprice Classic, baby. It did have a great engine though, and it really went fast. It was great. I loved
V8
it.
might have been
Yeah.
too much for you.
Yeah,
at that
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was 76 or 77. They made them those kind of years, and they were great cars. Really, really great cars. Yeah.
What was your first car, Taylor?
Mine was a Chevy Malibu, so
Okay.
nothing fancy. I also, within 6 months, wrecked mine. Well, someone T-boned me, but and so fun side note, I was terrified to drive. So I didn't even get my license until I was like almost 19 years old because I was like, I don't want to drive. And then I started college and my grandparents were like, all right, we can't take you to college. Like you're going to have to get a car. So finally, and here, I don't know if every state is like this, but in Florida, if you get your learner's permit after you're 18, you don't have to have it for like you can literally get your
And then
learner's
go right
permit
away.
and then like a week later,
That's
go
safe.
get your license. Yeah. Probably not. But so I got my learner's permit in like June or July of that summer, and then by August I had my license, and then in January I think it was I crashed. So then I went and got my own car. So I technically count my second one as my first one, which was a Pontiac Sunfire. Loved that car.
yeah.
It was
Oh,
like
yeah, that was a
dark
cool
blue,
car.
had
Yeah.
the little the removable glass at the top that I could take off. It was only a 2-door. It was super cute and sporty, and so I loved that car. And it was I did it. I bought that car, so it was a little more like the other one. My grandparents helped me out, which I was appreciative of. But that I say is my first car.
Yeah.
I can
How
understand.
about you, LP?
My parents got me a 4-door Acura Legend because
Oh,
I was
nice,
driving.
yeah.
I was driving my best friend, my brother, and his best friend to Bishop Kinney from the beach every day,
Yeah.
and so they knew I needed room. But yeah, it was a great car, and it had a
Yeah.
6-change CD player, which
Oh,
I
that
thought
was the jam.
Oh,
I thought I
nice.
was
Wow.
Yeah.
a badass, and I would drive
CD.
around the beach listening to punk rock. I didn't quite listen to country yet, but I listened to punk,
Mm.
and I would just blare punk up and down
I
3rd
love that.
Street.
Would you guys, before you were of age of driving, would you steal your parents' cars and take it from joyrides or something?
Absolutely not.
Never at all.
Like I didn't drive until I was 19. I definitely wasn't stealing them.
Well, I was the youngest, right? So I was
Yeah.
like, when I was 14, I was driving around.
I think guys
My brother
are different
did
than
that.
girls.
My brother
Yeah.
was like
It's like a
12,
big go-kart.
probably
Well,
driving.
Bigger go-kart.
I feel like my parents were smart enough to not ever leave the keys anywhere that someone could have stolen them. They knew
yeah.
I wasn't going to, but certainly for my brother's sake. They knew better than to.
Yeah. Well, I felt like it was good training, except for that story I just told you about getting wrecked.
I mean, I do think kids should learn to drive like golf carts and whatnot
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be
It
legal.
used to
but
be a course in high school. Like, at
Yes,
least when I was in
I
high school,
took
like
it
you
at
had to take
Fletcher.
driver's ed.
Yeah,
over
we
the
had it.
summer.
Sophomore year. You
Bishop
did
We
too?
had it, but they didn't make us take it.
Yeah, it was part of our
No,
deal.
it was offered. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, Bishop Kenny didn't have it. So I took it at Fletcher over the summer.
Okay.
And that was
Yeah.
a great learning experience. We just drove around the parking lot over and over
Yeah,
and
right.
over
You learn how to
again.
park, though, at least.
That
Because
is
that's some
valid.
people's problem is that parking.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that
what
could
got
be an
me
issue.
at first.
It's an issue. All right, we'll get into Jaguars football when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, and it's a Thursday, not a Friday. everyone.
That's right. Not yet.
And we got Thirsty Thursdays coming soon, too.
Ooh.
Baseball
That's
will be
right.
back soon.
I love it. The Jumbo Shrimp. It's 10 to XL 92.5 FM.
When it's time to saddle your horse and hitch your wagon, ride with the Frangie Show.
Let's ride!
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Let's ride!
Yeehaw!
Whoa, heartbeat!
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Now is the perfect time to finally get organized because it's the new year. Lauren Brooks here, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live, from closets and garages to home offices, entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and more. Beautiful, functional storage for any space, lifestyle, and budget. So start the new year strong with 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free in-home consultation today. Call 904-878-9393 or find them online, closetsbydesign.com.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to floridahomeac.com/careers to find out more.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Put the ball in the net with 60 minutes of soccer talk. The Coaches Show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor. Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
I'm with Brett from Cycles of Jacksonville, and the fall part of the year just offers so much fun, especially when you're out and about. Tell everybody what's happening with Triumph right now.
They have got a lot of new models on the road, from Scrambler 400s. They've got the legendary Rocket motorcycle. Lots of really cool bikes to choose from.
And the price point and all the tricks that come with the Triumph bike, they're all there.
They're all there. Entry level to the greatest of the great. We've got them.
Look for them online, cyclesofjacksonville.com. Check out their Facebook page or that showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. Are you frustrated with those trendy pills, drops, and lotions that claim to make your hair thicker and fuller? Are you taking weight loss drugs or medication that's making your hair fall out? Whether you're frustrated with results from treatments that just don't work, or you no longer have the fuller, thicker hair that you once had, there's a better way. Our hair restoration solutions have helped literally over 10,000 men and women restore their hair in as little as 2 office visits.
Ready to grow your hair back and have permanent, natural, and guaranteed results? For your confidential consultation, call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or go to hairforme.com. That's hairforme.com.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater Irrigation
and drainage too.
Playoff football calls for the grill. The January Rancher Box from local Fair Jacks is packed with pasture-raised beef, free-range chicken, and pork. All local, all delivered. Stock up for game day at localfairjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
I got it right away, RJ. Well done. By the way, RJ, what was your first car?
Like the first car I ever bought, or this first car that like I ever drove?
First car you ever drove?
Ever drove a 2002 Chevy Malibu. I mean, I remember my mom getting that car and her dad helping her pay for that car. I remember driving it in terms of just like learning how to drive inside of the elementary school that I used to go to. And then when we got here to Jacksonville, she ended up buying a new car. I took that car. And I just remember that being my first car. In high school, I was lame. I just walked everywhere. Everybody else had cars, you know. Hey, let's just go get I'm sorry, I went to Arcadia, primarily Asian populated school. Let's go get boba. And it's just like everybody's going like into their car and just like driving. And I guess I'll see you guys later.
I'll walk.
There's always, a few kids that like don't end up with cars. And so, you got to bring them under your wings and drive them places. One of my favorite car stories is my best friend's parents had this station wagon and the air went out in it. And they were like, we're not getting that fixed. Like we've had this car, for so long. So obviously everywhere we went, windows down.
Yeah.
Well, we were on the Dames Point Bridge. I don't remember where we were going, but we were on the Dames Point Bridge and obviously windows down. And the whatever the ceiling stuff, is made of.
Yeah.
Well, that started to, that fabric started to fall. And so all of a sudden in the car, we're like,
it's like blowing around.
The foam started blowing. Yeah. And so we thought it were maybe like, thought it was bugs at first, but we didn't know what it was. And so we're screaming as we're going over the Dames Point. The stuff is just flying around.
It's funny. I saw a post the other day that was like, you grew up in the 90s if you at some point drove like this, and it was someone like ducking because the lining was like coming down a little bit. I'm like, I haven't seen that in cars in a long time, but it was like a normal thing. I feel like back then.
It absolutely
tack it up. Just tack it up.
Yeah. All right. Some Jaguars football, I promised we would get here. All right. So I saw on NFL.com, they had a bunch of their quote unquote experts pick who they believe is going to win 2025 Coach of the Year, 2025 MVP, and of course, Comeback Player of the Year. Well, I have bad news and for Jaguars fans, and so don't even research this story. We'll just tell you. But of course, I quickly searched for the MVP and saw that Trevor Lawrence received 0 votes for that one. Yeah. Stafford's going to run away with it, according to these experts. And Drake May did receive votes. Nobody else did in the MVP. Right. And then I was like, well, all right, Liam Cohen has to have done better than that for Coach of the Year. And yes, he did do better. He got 1 vote for Coach of the Year. That's right, just 1, as Mike Vrabel, it seems like, is going to run away with it. And then lots of other coaches certainly got votes as well. And then Comeback Player of the Year, Trevor also got 0 votes. That's the one that annoyed me more than the other 2, honestly, because I really thought he had a chance to win this. And I understand Christian McCaffrey's in it, but hasn't he been Comeback Player of the Year before? Like, the 49ers didn't need to win any awards this year.
Hutchinson got 6 votes. I thought he'd get more.
I would have voted Hutch.
I probably would have given it to him too, because of just the horrificness of that injury. Not, look, McCaffrey, same with Trevor, a cumulative number of different things that attributed to the injuries. But whatever, he's in the running, so that means he had a great comeback year. And, with these votes, you can't.
This isn't the real vote.
Can't even get Bill Belichick in first ballot Hall of Fame. Get out of here with this stuff. No, but you figured. I'm surprised McCaffrey ran away with it. I thought I thought Aiden would get a lot more.
By the way, one of the voters is Jones Drew, and
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So because it's 22 voters that they do in this, and it's different guys. Rosenthal, Warner, Zerline, some of those guys, but Jones Drew is one of those. But I do think you have the obvious one. I think is Matthew Stafford. I think pretty much everybody would vote Matthew Stafford as MVP this year, especially even considering just regular season, which is what this is supposed to be. Those votes close before the playoffs even start, and I mean the season he had was just incredible when you talk about it. And I think that Matthew Stafford was just one of the guys who consistently from week 1 to week 18 was somebody who performed at a very high level. If Trevor did what he did in the second half all year, then I think he would have been right there, if not winning that award. Yeah. But it's not a half season award. You're the MVP of that team for the entire season. So you have to be able to perform at that level for the entirety of the year. And
Are you surprised then that Trevor was in the finalists, the top 5 finalists?
I don't know who else you would pick, I guess, is what it is. That stretch he had towards the end, I guess you're looking at he was playing like the best, if not, top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. And it does feel like usually it's a quarterback award. You've had some other years where maybe it's a running back if it's Derrick Henry or something like that you're seeing. But I do think
last year Saquon Barkley should have won it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, he was getting paid $20 million for a running back. And so that kind of attaches onto that. But I do think, I just don't know who else you would pick in that sense, because there were a lot of players this year who did have really good first halves and then nothing, or injuries. Lamar was hurt and Burrow was hurt, and all these guys that you're normally seeing in that conversation were all injured. So
well, look, you just looked at Stafford's 46-8 touchdown interception ratio, and nobody's even close to it. I think Drake's got 31 touchdowns just through the air, not total, but it's total for Stafford because he throws them all through he all his touchdowns are with his arm.
Yet you picked him to have a rushing touchdown.
I did. He did rush for 18 yards, though, so give him a little credit there. But no, he's to me by far the most valuable player. He had that kind of year. I mean, 46 touchdowns as a QB to only 8 picks and look, you can there's always arguments, debates, well, he's got, great wide receivers. He's got very good O-line, good running backs, good system. But he just makes it effortless. He knows exactly where to go with the football every single time. He still throws a beautiful ball, puts it in the right spot, can throw it deep, short, intermediate. He knows when to add touch. He's just kind of a polished, veteran QB, seen it all, done it all, and played at extremely high level. And he did this year as well.
He's the closest to Tom Brady that we have in the league right now, I guess I would say.
Well, Mahomes is out, so that kind of, if Mahomes was healthy and they were good, we might.
Well, in the sense of how he is.
Mahomes, I was going to say, Mahomes rushes a lot more, has the mobility.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But Brady was able to get to the line and diagnose what the defense was going to do and then dissect them. Right?
For
he didn't have to have the biggest arm. Stafford probably has a much better arm than Brady, but Stafford, even missing some training camp because of the back issue, people wondering if he was even going to play this season, still was obviously able because of that cerebral quality that he has. And so, the game, it just feels like it's slow for him.
Well, and his physical tools haven't gone down. He can still flick it. He can still whip it a mile. He can still put it wherever he wants to put it in a very quick period of time.
Yeah, and then you don't have to use your legs. And now in this league, it almost feels like the quarterbacks that can succeed without being able to move and run, almost you give them more credit because you see a lot of the success from a Mahomes and a Hurts and even Trevor this year. He got better because he could use his legs, And so to be able to have a guy who in the entirety of the year, we had the 16 or 18 rushing yards in the postseason, but technically net yards, he had negative. And to be able to have 46 touchdowns without having to use your legs at all, that's incredible to me.
Yeah, and look, everybody on the team would want you to stay in the pocket and whip it around all day long and not have to run, not have to get hit, not have to endure any of that. You know what I mean?
Because you can break your foot if you're rushing.
Yeah, you can. You can. Oh, conjecture there, Sal. I don't think so, buddy.
Josh Allen, it was revealed today as he went to his postseason presser in a boot, and he said he did have a broken
fifth metatarsal. I've had that injury before. And they started stress fractures, and that's why when Sal said that, Palantoni, who we interviewed, he was fantastic, but he said, they're X-raying it after every game. I'm like, what? They're looking at the break. I mean, they're looking at the break. They're seeing if it's growing or not. So look, you could play on those things as long as the ligament or the tendon's not affected. If it's just a crack, it's really just pain management, but it does affect your game. There's no doubt about it. It sounds like he had it for a few weeks. But whatever, that's part of the deal, man. You know, you play with what you can play with.
Yeah.
You know?
It sounds also like Bo Nix might have something similar in the sense of it, which remember I told you I kept hearing I kept hearing or seeing the doctors on Twitter like going back, and they went back to older games later in the season before the postseason, and they were like something wasn't right even in these games, and they were going to specific plays where you can see he was like leaning more on one foot and not using that ankle, and like they were seeing kind of these indicators that something was wrong. And I kept seeing doctors talk about it and physical therapists and all of this, and then I was saying okay, and then this was the game where it kind of got worse, and whatever happened intensified in that certain moment. But it was something he was dealing with for a while.
Sean Payton said pre-existing ankle condition, which that to me makes it seem like he's had this his whole life. When I hear pre-existing,
I don't know why he said that. You know, even if it is true, like why would you even put that out there in the universe?
Not a doctor,
Who cares?
but I play one on TV.
Just let fix the ankle and come back strong. You know, and if it happens again, we'll deal with it. You know, look, that's the thing with your body, the body. You know, you just never know what it can hold up to. You know, your feet. If your feet go, you're not. You know, it's just not going to happen. You know, your feet might not be built. You know, the right way. You know, I know for me, I have a really high arch. I have great dancer's feet, by the way. A great turnout, great dancer's feet. But it made me run on the outsides of my feet, and I played with stress fractures in high school because I ran on the outsides of my feet. And they're both in the fifth metatarsal, and you know they one I had to have surgery on. It was a non-floating fracture. You know, like at 15, 16. So they can be very, very damaging. And after a while, they just you might not be built for it for whatever reason. Hopefully, that's not the case with either quarterback because they got a lot of career left.
Should you have played with cleats that helped your arch support?
I would orthotics early in my life. Now I don't wear them now, and I haven't worn orthotics for a while because I feel like my arch kind of flattened a little bit, and they hurt more than anything, and they kind of make me roll out even more. So I try not to wear them and focus on putting my my big toe down. But no, I had to wear those orthotics for a long time, all throughout college, all throughout the pros. My feet always gave me a problem. But hopefully those guys, it's not that, that they can keep playing and because especially Bo, he's got a lot of good football ahead of him. So does Josh, but you knew he was a tough guy. He's a tough guy playing on a broken foot. And look, when they say broken foot, and by the way, I think Bo's is different. That's a real fracture. Stress fractures are, there's a crack, but it's not like a fracture. You know what I mean? It's like a hairline fracture. They still hurt. I'm not saying they don't.
Did you wear a boot in between practices?
No.
When you had the stress fracture?
No, I tough it out.
Because I remember all the girls at Bishop Kenny that ran cross country. At some point, they would get a stress fracture, and so they'd walk around school with a boot for the time. So that's why I didn't know if in between playing, if you would wear.
No, so I had a different stress fracture my 5th year at BC. I had on the top of my foot, the navicular bone, and during the week it would kill me, and then practice they tape it real tight, give me like a pain pill, and then I'd do it for the game, but I'd be hobbling all week long. But a lot of times if you're in that boot too much, it messes up your gait, it messes up your hips and all that kind of stuff. So
did your parents know that you would take pain pills and whatnot before playing?
You mean like in college?
Yeah, in college.
I am 18. I don't have to tell them everything.
No.
No, I don't know. Yeah, they wouldn't. Pain pills. Yeah, that's not
It wasn't an issue.
No.
Okay.
I don't remember it being an issue, The only thing I remember my mother telling me, because I was taking this, it wasn't speed, but it was kind of like speed. And it was when I was playing with the Jags, and she pulled me aside. Never forget it. After a game, we were tailgating and hanging out. She goes, come here, I want to talk to you. It's the year after my dad died, and I was playing a lot in '96, and it wasn't really speed. It was like 529 Magnums. They were like caffeine, but you take them out of the capsule, you throw them in water. It gave you a little jolt, and she pulled me aside, and she said, I don't know what you're taking, but you don't settle down to midway through the second quarter. And I was like, Ma, how did you? She's like, because you're jumping all around. You're not standing still. I can tell you're doing something, and you got to get off it, because then you settle down and you play a lot better. I was like, you know what? You're right. And I ended up not doing it anymore. because you didn't need it.
Mama knows best.
I feel like you have the
didn't.
natural energy.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, okay,
Yeah.
for instance, your daughter's dance.
Yeah.
If their athletic trainer said, all right, we're gonna need to, whether it's give them a pain pill or shoot them up with something prior to the dance, as a parent, you'd be like totally fine with it, or you would want to know more information.
Well, first of all, I know just as much about the human body as some orthopedic doctor. I'm
True.
not a surgeon, but I could tell what's going on
Yeah.
with their feet or their ankles and whatnot. So if they wanted to perform and they could handle the pain, no, I would whatever they needed. Tape that thing up, take a couple Advil, whatever. I don't know if they're going to shoot you up at a dance in high school, but you never know.
You never know.
If you needed it. Yeah, I mean, look, eventually, you play that way. I mean, I took that. What was the Toradol shot? I think I took it every game. It was a lot of it was mental. So you'd forget. Like after my ACL, I always felt like it was gonna hurt. So I'd go get the Toradol shot, and how strong was I? I have no idea. But you'd forget about it. You just kind of give you this like, okay, I'm not thinking about the pain anymore,
Just
type
curious,
thing.
yeah.
The key is always, can I hurt it more?
Yeah.
And back to the question about my daughters. Well, if she performs, can she hurt it more? That's where I would go to a special, doctor, be like, can she hurt it more? If she can't hurt it more and she can handle the pain, go for it.
I had a broken wrist my freshman year of high school while playing soccer. I broke it, and the doctor said, if she plays on this, even though I had a cast and we could wrap it up in the carpet foam, and the doctor said if she plays on it and she lands on it again, she'll have to have surgery, which is much worse than just the cast.
Yeah.
And so I missed one game thinking, that's terrible, and then I was like, if I have to have surgery, I have to have surgery, but most likely I'm not going to fall on it because it's already hurt, and I'll my body will take precautions. So I just played.
I think just as athlete, you just kind of built in a way like you kind of get to know your body.
Yeah.
You'll know what you can do. And if you can't do it, your body will tell you. I mean, it just either rips or breaks or, hurts so bad you can't, do it.
Like
so,
Bo Nix, there's no chance that Bo Nix misses the AFC Championship game unless he 100% cannot play.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably couldn't put any pressure on it at all. And if he can't do that, he can't stand there on one leg.
Might have been better than Jared Stidham. I'm not sure at that point.
Give him a crutch.
Yeah, but just a reminder, the MVP 5 finalists were Matthew Stafford, Drake May, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, and Christian McCaffrey. So that means that the other quarterback that's playing in the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold, was not an MVP finalist. And Bo Nix, who was in he would have been playing in the AFC Championship game had he not gotten hurt. He was not an MVP finalist. So just keep that in perspective, Jags fans. I know some people are frustrated that the game or the season ended the way it did. Yeah. Obviously, the Jags didn't beat the Bills at home. Trevor threw 2 interceptions, but he is being mentioned and is one of the finalists for that.
Listen, I mean, you look, he definitely has to be better in the wild card game. There's no doubt, and so does other people as well on the other side of the ball as well. But you can't deny the success he had this year. And agreed with Taylor, like it wasn't all year. Now the first part of the year, he'd have a great game, then you'd have a great series, and then it was just not consistent enough. Remember, we all three of us were like, he's consistently inconsistent. But then it changed. And during that span, because looking at his rating every week, right? All of a sudden, it's over 100. It's over 100 again. It's over 100 again. So, I mean, he did like 5 or 6 in a row, and then it was 90s close, where before it was more 80s, 70s, then maybe a 90. Never got to 100 till he hit that stretch. And so for that part of the year, absolutely an MVP candidate. If he puts together entire like that, and look, let's be honest, the year of getting to know Liam Cohen's offense is over. I mean, they're still evolving. They're going to still figure stuff out. But he's already got that down. So he's not coming in like he came in last year.
Correct.
In the beginning of the season. He's not coming in like that. He's coming in a well-oiled machine, knowing where to go with the football, and hopefully everything's clicking early.
And he was coming back from injury last year.
Yeah,
Also.
true.
When
Yeah,
Liam,
fair.
when Liam
Fair.
got the job, Trevor was in a sling.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I doubt that he'll have someone that he relies on as a target that he has never thrown the ball to in a game before. There may be a backup tight end certainly that becomes that plays a role, but the guys that we expect to be the stars on offense, the playmakers, they're most likely already here, other than maybe running back. But all right, we'll keep this conversation going. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
With Lee and Kate's dress, you're gonna see a big difference.
Frank Frangie for Lee & Case Glass, still family-owned and in business for 100 years. When they say you're going to see a big difference, that's for everything. Custom showers and spas, tabletops, mirrors, even replacing foggy windows, all at a more affordable price. And with your satisfaction absolutely guaranteed, Lee & Case Glass is your best choice. Visit leeandcaseglass.com.
With Lee & Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
When it's game time, make feeding the crowd easy. Chicken Salad Chick serves fresh Southern-style chicken salad, flavorful sides, and crowd-favorite catering trays. Order ahead at chickcatering.com or visit one of 4 area locations today.
Frank Frangie here. This month marks a big milestone for Nimnick Chevrolet. 85 years of serving Jacksonville since 1941. Nimnick's been more than a dealership. It's part of the community. 4 generations of families, thousands of vehicles sold, and a reputation built on doing things the right way. When you hear nobody but Nimnick, that's 85 years of trust behind it. If you bought a car from Nimnick, serviced one, or participated in one of the causes, you're part of the legacy. So stop by and celebrate 85 years with Nimnick, corner of Park and Cassett. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Give a unique gift this Valentine's Day to that special person in your life with a custom-made candle or body care product from Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
Feel the power of Van Halen. Live, jump, America's Van Halen experience. Iconic riffs. And David Lee Roth era energy. Sunday, February 1st at Thrasher Horn Center. Get tickets now at thcenter.org.
What's up, Duval? I'm Chad Valamek, owner of Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran-owned pool company for over 10 years. We specialize in new pool construction and pool renovations, built on military values, integrity, communication, attention to detail, and honor. Now is the perfect time to start your pool project, so when the heat hits, your pool is ready. As an Iraq War veteran and Purple Heart recipient, pride in what I do is everything. Let me show you the difference in how my team and I execute your pool project with military precision. Call Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran pool company.
Hey, Hickett here. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code 1010XL. $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Oh, Saturday sun, I met someone out on the West Coast.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. We're having some technical difficulties with one Tom McManus and his
I
headphones.
pretended like they work.
Yeah, we needed you to hear Bruce Springsteen.
That's what I know. I heard just a
segment.
bit of it because I'm playing with the connection here, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be working that
In
well.
case you missed the first segment, that's when Tom had rookie hazing with the Saints. He had to sing in front of the team, and that's
Yep.
the song that he chose to sing.
Hungry Heart by the Boss. I just started watching that movie. The new movie, with the
haven't
dude
seen
from
it.
The Bear. I don't forget his name. David Allen White. He's got 3 names. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't. He was in. He's in. Shameless. You know that TV.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's
yes,
a brother in
yes,
Shameless.
Yeah,
That guy.
Bear.
Yeah, he
He's in
plays.
Bear. That's him.
Yeah, he plays Bruce. He does a
Oh,
pretty good
okay.
job. Yeah,
He's
I'm
a good
just getting
actor.
into it. Yeah, he's great. The music's his Nebraska album, which is like he kind of went totally out of what he was doing. He was coming off the Born to Run tour, and they're like, more of that. And he went totally different. He's like, no, I'm feeling this. Pulled it off though. I guess I haven't seen the finishing. I haven't finished the movie yet.
I haven't seen that
so far so good.
But typically, I love movies about artists, like musical.
Yeah, me
artists. Like
too.
the
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh,
about
yeah,
Queen
phenomenal.
Seriously.
That was
such a good movie.
phenomenal. Yeah. It's cool how they got all those hits together, and they come up with something and one did, another one bites the dust, the guy with the bass just boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Everyone's like, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sure it took a little bit more time than that, but that's I like those things too.
I love Freddie Mercury. And to
Yeah,
me,
Merc.
Queen is one of those bands that literally you could name 5 to 10 songs and
Yep.
each person would be like, that's my favorite. And then someone else would be like, no, that's my favorite. No,
Yeah.
that's my favorite. And they're all kind of like anthems for the band.
Yeah. His
Like We Are the
range was
Champions.
insane.
Some people would say We Are the Champions is, their
favorite.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, like I have not watched it, but I
Yeah.
want to because I
Oh,
know
you
I
gotta
would love
see
the
it.
movie. I don't know why I haven't watched it yet.
I knew a lot about Queen and Freddie Mercury, and I learned a lot by watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So highly recommend.
I'll tell you, it was
Those are the
cool at
good
the end of
ones.
that. The Live Aid, like that
Oh,
was
yeah.
unbelievable. I'm
Yeah.
surprised they haven't done more. I know they've done for different,
Yes. And there's
tragedies
yeah.
and things like that. But man, that thing was worldwide. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was
They
crazy.
raised a lot of money for
Yeah, absolutely.
AIDS back in the day.
Yeah, music brings people together. Football brings people together. It's great.
Sports.
Yes,
Sports
and
in
music
general.
for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when the local team is winning, that's for sure.
Yep.
All right, so we talked about MVP. Most likely Stafford's going to win. Coach of the year,
Yeah.
Vrabel, it seems, is going to win, but I will say Mike McDonald got a lot of these votes. And again, this is from NFL.com and their quote unquote experts. They had 22 different people vote on what they think will be announced next week when it comes to the NFL honors. But I feel like Vrabel and McDonald, yes, should absolutely be in the conversation based off of what they did in the regular season. But I was surprised that a guy like Ben Johnson for the Bears, a guy like Liam Cohen for the Jaguars, barely got any votes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Shanahan got 7, and I'm looking at it here.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know. That seems like a popularity thing,
It's
but he
because-
did a good job. I mean,
He
look,
did
they
a
were
great
beat
job,
up. They were
but
beat
you,
up.
You also had a super talented team going into the year. I guess that's the thing. Like when you look at what Liam Cohen did with the Jaguars and you look at what Ben Johnson did with the Bears, every single person that knows the NFL would have taken, or that's involved in the NFL, would have taken the 49ers roster over the Bears and the Jaguars.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah, and everyone
That's, I
thought they were
guess,
going to
how-
bounce back anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because the year before they were beat up.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they thought this year they would be one of the top in the. And look, what did they finish? 12-4,
Mm-hmm.
12-5, something like that. I mean, they had a heck of a year.
Yeah.
And Mac Jones came in and held down the fort for a little bit, but that wouldn't. That wouldn't give me. That wouldn't
Make
give,
me feel like you're coach of the year. I think that for that, because the expectations were already high for them. And then I know the argument is, all of the injuries. But to me, you're a team and a coach that's been way more established for a while to be able to build depth and do some of those things. I mean, the Bears and the Jags also dealt with a lot of injuries. And you're not losing Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, but there were times when both of these teams, when you are missing a Jordan Lewis, Trayvon Walker all season long, you are missing pieces of your, I mean, even offensively. Brenton Strange wasn't there for a while. You dealt with a lot of things.
Yeah, we
on
don't
both
have
sides
a
of
Kittle, a Bosa, and a Warner to be able to miss.
Miss,
That's why
yes,
what they
that's the
did with these
difference.
players is so incredibly impressive.
And when you have time, you would hope that here in, let's say, 5 years, when Liam Cohen's, 5, 6, 7 years into his time here in Jacksonville and James Gladstone, and you're able to build this product, that losing 2 or 3 players doesn't make things fall apart. That means that your general manager has done a good job of finding depth pieces. And we talk about that raising the floor is what they talked about here. And they've been able to do that for a long time. You've had the same coach for a while. Brock Purdy, you've already felt like that's your quarterback. You want that to be the future of your quarterback. We were still having that discussion here in week 7 of this year, if that was Trevor Lawrence. And so that's what's weird to me. It's a product that to me was already established and built. And the coach of the year is somebody to me that does that with something that didn't already have that solid foundation.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And you look at Vrabel. I mean, look, they only had 4 wins last year, and what he did and turned that team around is pretty remarkable. I think with all of them, they kind of coach the same kind of philosophy, same kind of culture, if you will. A lot of accountability, a lot of physicality. You got to look. Shanahan's teams are always prepared and physical. I'll give him that. There's no doubt about that. But I agree with you. I mean, look, I would put it, I think McDonald should get more votes. I think Ben and Liam should get more votes. I think Kyle should give up some votes. And I think Vrabel should give up 1 or 2 votes too. I don't think it should be a runaway with him, but I do think he should win it, right? I do think what he's done with that team, he changed the culture too. So did Ben. So did Liam. I think McDonald did it 2 years ago. And then Kyle, he's kind of had that culture, since he's been there. So
Yeah. I guess I would say on the whole 49ers thing, what was it? 2023, the Jags play host to the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
And the 49ers,
Massacre.
destroyed the Jags 34-3. 34-3. And the Jags, the rest of the season obviously went terrible for this team. But think of how far Liam Cohen was able to bring this team. And he wasn't the coach last year, but the 49ers obviously have had Shanahan now for several years. And this year the Jags go to San Francisco and beat the 49ers there in that short of a turnaround. Like, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, and remember, they out-muscled us big time in 23. I mean, they beat us up physically.
It was not fun.
We didn't fight back. We couldn't wait for the game to be over. I mean, it was such an awful showing by our team, and that became one of the blueprints for that year's team. Punch them in the face, and they'll bow. They're done. Yeah. And that's not every player, but as a collective group, that's what it was like.
Even early last year, the Monday Night Football game, the Jaguars get absolutely beat down by the Bills. And then you fast forward to this year's Monday Night Football game, not against the Bills, but against the Chiefs.
Right.
And the Jags end up coming from behind and winning. That is massive difference.
Well, what Liam's done in a year, it's just changed everything, which is great. And he deserves more than one vote.
Yeah, he gets one vote. Again, this is not what the NFL awards.
No, right.
But I just wanted to have the conversation because I thought, well, these people certainly are well connected in the National Football League.
Yeah. Did you see, by the way, before we hit break, when it comes to the Patriots schedule, and we've seen this a little bit, but when you go through and when it talks about the amount of coaches that were fired of the teams they've played. So just real quick, Vegas fired coach, Miami fired coach, Pittsburgh fired their coach. Then it was the Panthers, Buffalo fired their coach. Then it was the New Orleans they played after that. Tennessee fired their coach. Cleveland fired their coach. It was just like the amount 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of their games were against teams who fired their coach this year.
Wow.
And then the ones outside of that where it was the NFC South, who was a terrible division, who they played a couple games in there. And then it was the Jets. And then it was the Bengals without Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And then the Jets again.
Wow.
Which is why I think most people think when it comes to the Super Bowl that the Seahawks will run away with it because the Patriots didn't have a tough schedule and they did catch some breaks and they've caught some breaks in the postseason as well.
Yeah, that's kind of part of the fate, when you're a Super Bowl team.
But they're also hearing that. Mike Vrabel's if Liam Cohen
Vrabel's like, okay, they're saying we just slid through everything and we've gotten lucky. They're buying into that
material.
Yeah.
Which, oh, by the way, the most important thing to me is the fact that Drake May has had to be limited with the shoulder injury at practice. That is a much bigger thing than anything that's happened to this point. But I'm sure, obviously, he'll be able to play like we were talking about in the last segment. They'll shoot him up or give him something and he'll
biggest show on earth. You can't miss that one.
Go out there for sure. Finally, comeback player of the year. To me, that's where I thought Trevor Lawrence would get a ton of votes. It seems like it's going to be either Christian McCaffrey or Aiden Hutchinson. And we'll look towards 2026 NFL season. You know what? I don't care if we won any awards. No. I just want to win the whole dang thing. That would be Super Bowl 61.
I like that they're in the running.
That's what I was
come on. When's the last time we've been in the running?
Last year you're being laughed at, and now you're talked about it for honors. Like,
awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we almost lost 2 coordinators, which just puts, obviously, the respect
The
on
mojo feels good. You know what I mean? Like, the juice feels really
Especially
good.
because we didn't lose those. All right, I want to talk a little bit more about the Broncos and the Rams and see what's ahead for them. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Radio for Jacksonville by people who live and love Jacksonville.
That's right. That's exactly what it means.
1010XL. Bold City Radio.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WindoWorld wants you to do. WindoWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WindoWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WindoWorld can.
And with WindoWorld, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WindoWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WindoWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WindoWorld, and to top it off, WindoWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WindoWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call WindowWorld today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
WindoWorld. Simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Frank Frangie here. This month marks a big milestone for Nimnick Buick GMC. 85 years of serving Jacksonville. Since 1941, Nimnick's been more than a dealership. It's been part of the community. 4 generations of families, thousands of vehicles sold, and a reputation built on doing things the right way. When you hear nobody but Nimnick, that's 85 years of trust behind it. If you bought a car from Nimnick, serviced one, or participated in one of our causes, you're part of the legacy. Stop by and see the folks at Nimnick today, because this milestone belongs to Jacksonville too. GMC, we are professional grade.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 29, 2000, Karl Malone became the third player in NBA history to score 30,000 career points, following a 35-point performance against Minnesota.
Hi, Jacksonville. This is Dr. George Bari, an orthopedic surgeon who is fellowship trained in sports medicine by the Dr. James Andrews. Wintertime is upon us, and you may notice you wake up in the morning with some aches and pains in the shoulders and knees. If this happens to you, don't forget, stay mobile to try to reduce stiffness in your joints. And if that doesn't work, come see me at Bari Orthopedics, where we can treat you with cortisone injections and platelet-rich plasma injections and other non-invasive needs. Visit me at bariorthopedics.com.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we fly through a Thursday afternoon. All right, what is next for the two teams that were eliminated this past weekend that will not be playing in the Super Bowl? For the Broncos, head coach Sean Payton earlier this week announced that the team parted ways with the offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi. They're also their wide receivers coach and cornerbacks coach. I found that interesting considering Sean Payton calls the plays and also because, of course, their starting quarterback didn't play in that game. So the clear answer, the obvious answer is to get Bo Nix healthy. But I guess also find an offensive coordinator if Sean Payton wants one.
I tell you what, I wouldn't want to work for that guy.
No.
He's a jerk. I would say a different word, but we're on radio. But he really is, and he's condescending to everybody. Is he like that way with his staff? His players, his wife, God bless her. Yeah. She must be a peach. But, geez, I mean, the way he talks and the way he acts like he's on this pedestal. Like, look, you've had a great career. I'm not going to deny that he hasn't been a good coach.
But also Bountygate was under him.
Yeah, Bountygate. Yeah. Well, I didn't mind headhunting. I thought that was worth money. I'd pay my guys, too, to take off the other team's head. Sure, why not? What was it? He said it was Williams, the D coordinator. He's like, kill the head and the body will follow. I'm like, yep, pretty much. But look, he's had a good career, but he acts like he's holier than thou, knows everything about everything, and condescending to his the reporters, the media. For him to say that, it was a the thing about the ankle. Like, why would you say that? Why would you even bring that up and put that out there? That's your star quarterback. You're supposed to protect him at all times, not throw caution in the wind. And everyone's like, well, wait a minute. How do we miss that? Because that's what the NFL is going to think. Well, how did we miss that? How did your medical staff miss that? If he's got predisposed, ankle issues or something.
32 different orthopedic surgeons
took a look at him.
Yeah.
And his MRIs and everything else that goes along with it. So I don't know. I'm how he fires his offensive coordinator after. By the way, you put up 30. You lost by 3. It wasn't like you got crushed and you didn't score any points. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I
They
feel.
scored 7.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 10-7. I'm sorry.
The
In the
week
snow.
before they beat
Yeah,
the
the week
Bills.
before.
It
It was. I'm sorry. My bad. But you still were in the snow. I mean, you had nothing going on, and then you fire your OC. Why? What'd you fire him for?
If I'm
What's
Lombardi,
the
I'm
point?
probably actually happy.
Yeah,
to your
that's
point.
what I'm saying. Like,
I'll
yeah,
go get
get
a
me
job
outta
somewhere
here.
else, and I'll work up the ranks because I wasn't calling plays anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think when it comes to it, almost feels like the comment with Bo Nix is he didn't totally thoroughly think through what he was doing clearly. But in a sense, it almost made me feel like he was trying to defend Bo in a way because so many people were like, where did he get hurt? Was it on this? Was it,
There's so many rumors that
there
it
was
was
all these
post-game
things floating.
celebration,
So I think he just kind of wanted to be like, this, we are already battling something and it just like, that game and he did it wrong. And so that's kind of what happens sometimes when you put coaches like a Sean Payton who just goes up and talks probably a little too much in his press conferences. I've said this a few times on here. The week the Jags played them, I went and was getting the opposing team clips and listening to him was awful. I was like, I'm so glad we don't have to cover him and listen to his press conferences every day. But I think in the sense it had to do with that. But the offensive coordinator, it almost just feels like he felt like we only scored 7 points in this game. And yeah, it was snow. It didn't start snowing till halfway through the third quarter, though, and you still couldn't score points. But I think that it was almost like a scapegoat of, okay, I know I'm calling plays, but this wasn't working clearly.
Don't look at me, look at him.
Here, look at this.
Right.
And, we don't know the conversations behind that. Maybe they didn't see eye to eye on things that needed to happen offensively or how the offense should run or Bo Nix. Like, who knows what those conversations looked like? So it could have been more of like, I'm going to fire you and give you a chance to go somewhere else because clearly we're not on the same page with this offense.
Maybe the OC nicknamed Bo Nix Bobo.
Bobo,
And he
yeah.
decided we can't have that around these parts anymore. Yeah, look, Jarrett Stidham, he did his best, I'll say.
Yeah.
Like, he
Yeah.
tried. But as everybody saw him walk into the stadium with a cowboy hat on, like, you better play really well to
You're
be able
drawing
to
a lot of attention right now.
Correct. To be able to look
Steady
like you're-
up or whatever they had the signs saying.
Cast into Landman season 3, which I haven't talked about Landman on air yet,
Yeah.
but I absolutely love it. And if you haven't seen it, you just have to deal with a little bit of death and gory stuff, but the characters themselves are fantastic. So highly recommend. I've watched the first 2 seasons. All right. Anything else with the Broncos?
Yeah, specifically, I was just going to say, I do think, and Evan Ingram had a good season, but I think they need a tight end, a more like a Brenton Strange type tight end, somebody that's going to block, somebody that can do more of that. And I also just think in general, a move to a younger tight end would help them because I do feel like in moments that this season when it came offensively, when they needed that true tight end type of guy to, midfield, but we've seen Strange help Trevor Lawrence in. They didn't really have that. So I could see them trying something like that, kind of freshening it up on the tight end. And then the offensive tackle, the offensive tackles, they have decisions to make. McGlinchey and Bowles were obviously good. They both had years where it was kind of criticized, and then they both had really good seasons this year, but they're also both contracts ending. So they've now got to you're figuring out both your tackles. You're going to have to figure out Bo Nix, how healthy he is, what all that looks like.
I think more weapons in general.
And weapons, yeah.
Not just the tight end. Cortland Sutton is good, but what else do you have?
Yeah.
And a couple guys on defense. John Franklin Myers will be a free agent.
You want him to be here.
do.
Yeah, he's on my list, too.
He's
I
got
love him.
7 sacks 2 years in a row from the interior.
Yeah.
And then Alex
Come on,
Singleton's a free agent, but there's no way they're letting him go. I would never let that guy walk out the door.
He's like
he's
our
a difference
version
maker.
of Dennis Gardeck, except he's been around there longer than Gardeck's been here.
He's more. I mean, look, I love Dennis, but Alex is an all. I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is like one of the better linebackers in the game.
I just mean as far as the playing attitude.
Oh, yeah,
It's
the
like,
wild-
You always notice
Yeah.
when that person's on the field and close to the ball. All right, we'll get it to the Rams on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the way the game was meant to be heard. Raw, real, and right in your ear.
Right side coming! Touchdown!
Feel the energy on 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey guys, Taylor Doll here from Helmets into Heels. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, let Peterbrook Chocolatier make your shopping experience a little bit easier. Locally owned and operated with quality ingredients from truffles and hand-dipped strawberries to my personal favorite, chocolate-covered popcorn. This holiday, they also have custom gift baskets perfect for your loved one. Make sure to pre-order between now and February 2nd at peterbrook.com. That's peterbrook.com. Peterbrook Chocolatier, celebrating 40 years of chocolate.
Look around and we know you've got options for gasoline, but those other places, they're not in the business of more. At Shell, that's what you get every day. Members get more rewards, more savings, more special offers. You'll even get 10 cents per gallon off of your first fill when you sign up and save on every fill after that. Choose to get more and more with every drive. Join the Shell Fuel Rewards program today at fuelrewards.com. Offer valid at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information.
He used to lay the lumber on the field.
No, I'm not a quarterback, but I like eating quarterbacks for breakfast.
Now he lays his opinions on Jaguars Today. Tom McManus. Fridays on 1010XL. Opened by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
The Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach is better than ever. Come experience our new renovated spaces, including an expanded wellness center with upgraded state-of-the-art equipment, recovery solutions, brand new locker rooms, and the Horsell Center for Health and Well-Being, all designed to help you feel your best. And now you can join with no joining fee. Plus, enjoy your 4th month free. There's no place like this place. And you'll love what's new. Visit the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The Jacksonville Icemen are in town for a pair of games this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at 7, it's Star Wars night. Whether you support the Rebel Alliance or the Empire, come out for a night of fun as the Icemen wear special themed Star Wars jerseys. Then Sunday at 3, it's Publix Family Fun Day. Take a shot on goal on the ice after the game. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksonvilleIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Icemen hockey is #Sub-Zero.
A new year is the perfect time to finally get organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to home offices, entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and more. Beautiful, functional storage for any space, lifestyle, and budget. Start the new year strong with 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free in-home consultation. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Hacker here, and I'll admit something I don't love admitting. At some point, you just kind of get used to being overweight. Not happy about it, just used to it. Like, yeah, this is me now. That was my mindset. I tried stuff, took the meds, cut carbs, all of it. And when none of it really worked, I remember thinking, all right, I guess I'm just going to have to live with this. And that sucks. I didn't like saying it out loud, but that's where I was. When I finally started Awaken 182 years ago, I wasn't fired up. I was skeptical. I just didn't want to feel stuck anymore. Then 4 weeks went by where we are right now in the new year, and I was down 35 pounds in a month. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't broken. I just needed the right plan for me. That's what Awaken 180 gave me. That's what they'll give to you. Look, there is no magic pill that lasts. There is no healthy diet giving the results I got. There is simply Awaken 180. And you can talk with them today. Go online, awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Kuhn Flowers. 5-time major champion Brooks Koepka made his first start back on the PGA Tour today at the Farmers Insurance Open after playing the last handful of seasons on the LIV Golf Tour. The Orlando Magic got a much-needed W last night, defeated the Miami Heat 133-124. It's 57 degrees at 3 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks as we hang out with you on this Thursday afternoon and just speed towards the weekend that has no football, y'all. No football. Y'all, for the first time, well, for us since July, since training camp began. First weekend without football.
Senior Bowl or is that during the week?
No, that is this
that coming?
weekend. So
It's
it's
a
technically,
weekend?
yes.
Yeah.
I just mean as far as a...
No, I know. Well, you got to fill it in somehow, I
That
guess.
is valid.
You know?
Yes. And I don't even have a Gator basketball game on Saturday since that's on Sunday when Florida plays host to Alabama. So good thing I have gymnastics on Friday night.
Good
But I'll
thing.
have that recorded because we're going out for a friend's birthday. So I'll watch that on Saturday.
Was that South Carolina last night that they crushed?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I
Florida
saw that.
bounced back from
Yeah,
the
big
loss to Auburn.
Yeah.
It was...
Was that in your lane? I'm sorry if I stole
No,
the
you're
lane.
fine. It was
Okay.
a South Carolina
that your lane?
shellacking. That was in my lane. Florida won 95-48.
Holy
95
cow.
to 48.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Todd
Florida
Golden
had
was like, relax, everybody.
Yeah,
We'll
we're
be
good.
fine."
We're good.
Florida
We
had
don't need to change
48 points in the
jerseys.
first half. And did
Wow.
you hear how many points South Carolina had total in the game? 48.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
That's how you know how that went. All right, so the Rams, I'll say that the Rams, in order to improve, assuming that Matthew Stafford stays as quarterback, and I would imagine that he would for the price tag of $40 million or maybe a raise based off of what he did this year. But I would say improve the secondary. That was an issue for them. And then
Yeah.
Big time.
special teams, they're going to have to find a coordinator and certainly improve that unit as well, which around these parts, I think we do take special teams for granted because they've been so good for so long that we watch a muffed punt and we think, well, that would never happen here. Or we watch a missed kick. That would never happen here. Even though, yes, I'm aware Cam Little did miss a kick against the Bills.
Yeah, I think one, and this is a crazy one to probably say because he's winning the MVP most likely, but you have to start thinking quarterback soon there. I don't know how much longer Matthew Stafford is or wants to play. I mean, you win the Super Bowl already once, you're a step away. You saw the video go viral of him going home and immediately going and tucking in his kids, and like just it feels like we're kind of in that trajectory of Matthew Stafford's about ready to be family Matthew Stafford and maybe do other stuff. I could see him doing some media stuff and analyzing and stuff like that every now and then. But
Brady played till how old? 43?
Yeah. But Brady's mental. Like, he didn't care about his family, clearly. I mean, his wife pretty much was like, stop football. So he said yes and then came back. Matthew Stafford feels a little bit different in that sense. And not saying this year, but you still have to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
You don't want it to come to the... And honestly, this is probably the perfect time. Go find a quarterback to be behind Matthew Stafford for a couple years and be able to develop and learn like we saw Patrick Mahomes do and Tom Brady. And some of these quarterbacks we've seen be successful are the ones that have been able to come in and not have to start in a disaster right away. So I do think that's something they have to start thinking about, because you don't want it to get, if it is sudden or he gets hurt and then you just have no other option, and then now he does leave because he's like, I don't want to get hurt when, at this point of my life. And so I do think that's something they have to start thinking about. But yeah, the other big one for me is cornerback in general, but their secondary, there was a lot of issues back there.
Yeah. Jimmy G's a free agent, so I don't know what they do with that. Stetson Bennett's there, but they're not anywhere near what you need, I don't think.
Well, and Stetson's had off the field issues since he's been there.
Yeah, so Matt, look, I don't know. I like what McVay says. He's like, he almost got really ticked off. He's like, what are you talking about? He just had an MVP year. Of course he's coming back. But you do have to start thinking about it. There's no doubt about that. I think defensively, it's that secondary. I mean, you look at Darius Williams, who we loved here for a year or so. He really struggled last week. It's listen, again, you play a lot of zone. You don't hit the QB. It's hard to play coverage. It's just hard to cover. But they got to figure they need some more stickiness on that back end. Cameron Curl's another guy, safety. We're talking about guys we would want here. I don't really feel like there's anybody on that team that's going to be a free agent that I would say, definitely bring him over here.
Yeah, only probably Cam Curl if you thought
Maybe
the Jags
Cameron
needed
Cool, but you don't need it. I don't think we need a safety, in that regard. Seattle, they've got a couple that you might want, but no. Look, again, it's going to come down. You'd think the Rams are going to be back at it. They got plenty of weapons. If Matthew comes back, I mean, are you kidding me? I'd love to have that guy back if I'm a Rams fan or coach. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. As far as backing it up and getting ready. I'm sure I can't imagine him. Unless the back acts up again, like his back, I think was pretty major.
Yeah.
Like he didn't perform in camp. I don't think, even
it
practice.
was like all of camp, no preseason. It was questionable even for the season when he was going to start, and then he ended up being able to.
But you got to think with a guy like that, his juices are, man. I gotta go for it again.
One more time,
let me at least get another shot at a Super Bowl, maybe. You know what I mean?
Remember Sean McVay? He was kind of flirting with television, like leaving coaching and taking a ton of money to be an analyst.
Yep.
So you do have to wonder, have they made almost like a separate agreement? Like, we're going to do this until Stafford turns
This time,
40
and then
and
we
then
go together.
Right, and then I'll do something else.
I just know Higbee, he was hurt this year, the tight end, right?
Yeah, Tyler
He's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
If he's healthy, pairing him with Brenton Strange would be kind of interesting because he's a pass-catching type tight end down the field. Maybe somewhere there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot on Seattle and a lot on Denver when I'm going through
Yeah.
the list of free agents that you want. But the reason we're
Seattle
doing
has
this,
5.
Yeah,
different guys, not necessarily that you would want here, but
Yeah.
5 primary guys that are going to be free agents.
Yeah. And I think as we've been doing this, we've done it as each round, and the teams that were eliminated, we've talked about where they stand and what's next. And I think it's relevant for here. And I've had a couple, like somebody just brought it up on the text line, so I wanted to answer that. But it's relevant here because there's going to be free agents out there, and there's going to be decisions that could affect the Jaguars down the line when it comes to guys they re-sign or don't re-sign. We've seen how the Rams do things. So it's always kind of, you look at the Rams a little bit to see what they do because James Gladstone comes from that. And there's a lot of similarities in kind of how we've already seen him run things. And so it's just something to keep an eye on. But it also, in a sense, it's interesting to see how all of these teams, different teams build and what they do in the offseason. You mentioned, Tommy, on break when it comes to the amount spent and the 2 Super Bowl teams, both, what was it? No,
New England's number one. They spent like $290 million in free agency, and Seattle was 4th with just over 200, but 100 went to Darnold.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, they're paying.
They spent a lot of money, and it's
pay
also
to play, baby.
Two different
Patriots had
situations.
to overhaul their
That's what I was
yeah,
about to say.
definitely.
The Patriots had to overhaul a lot.
Yeah,
They had a
for
new
sure.
coach, so there were a lot of changes. Seattle already won a lot of games last year. They just felt like there was still upgrades that they needed to make to be able to pay some of these people. So there's
Ding,
just
ding, ding. That sounds.
don't be complacent is kind of where I feel. And the Jags don't have money right now, and that they'll restructure and they'll figure things out to be able to do that. But you still have to spend, and you have to bring guys in to constantly improve your roster. You don't want to just sit on what you have all the time. And Seattle's a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's just too bad that with guys like Etienne and Devin that we're up against the cap, we just might not be able to afford them. And it's no wrongdoing of their own. They've just they're hitting the market at the right time, and we don't have the cash, enough to get everything done. And then the question becomes, well, who replaces that? I think in running back, who replaces Etienne if you go that route, and then if you go without Devin, who's going to be that?
Ventrell Miller and Devin Lloyd were locked into a competitive battle throughout training camp.
I don't think. And I like Ventrell, I do, but I think Devin brings a lot more to the table for that position. And I know they had him at Orr, for most of camp, but Devin always went out with the first team. I mean, it seemed like anyway. Ventrell's good at space, he can cover. Probably a little bit more athletic, not as big. Good against the run. I would say Devin's as good or better. I just think Devin can get after the quarterback a lot better. His 25 pressures, again, pressures me only mean so much. 3rd in the league at his position, So I think, I just think there's more upside still with Devin. But if you let him go, you have to find a replacement for him. It's on your roster. You got to go get somebody, to replace that. So that's part of the free agency battle.
Yeah.
Who we got, who's going to be gone. And who are we bringing? It might be through the draft. I don't know.
How do you upgrade? Because the question isn't just replace.
Yeah.
It's how do you
you
get
got to
better?
upgrade. Absolutely.
Do you think, Tommy, when it comes to that, so if they don't keep Devin Lloyd, you would want them to go find somebody that's going to start? You're not confident that Ventrell could do that, and they just find somebody.
I don't want to sound negative on Ventrell. I think
Yeah.
he's a fine player. I just don't think he's as much as a difference maker as I think Devin Lloyd is and can be. Like even moving forward, Quay Walker's a guy. There's some similarity, of course, from Green Bay. He can cover a little bit better, but you're gonna have to pay for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna have to pay as much as Devin Lloyd, but he's gonna want a pretty penny too. So look, hopefully they can work it out and keep the whole band together. But it isn't like, because we've seen this in the past. We saw it a couple years ago. Oh, we only need 1 or 2 guys. No, don't give us that.
Yeah.
You need more than that. Not saying you need an overhaul, because you don't. You overhauled a lot last year, but you're not 1 or 2 players away from a Super Bowl. Not in my opinion. I think you're probably about 4 to 5 players away.
Maybe if you had Myles Garrett, maybe.
Well, yeah, but
But
I like
that's
Max Crosby too on the other side.
But that's a different
there's your
type
4.
of game.
There's
Yeah,
your 4.
exactly. All right, we want to talk to Shireen Williams on the other side, Pro Football Talk writer and Hall of Fame voter. Obviously, the Hall of Fame vote is in the news, so we will get to that on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Frank Frazier here. This month marks a big milestone for Nimnick Chevrolet. 85 years of serving Jacksonville since 1941. Nimnick's been more than a dealership. It's part of the community. 4 generations of families, thousands of vehicles sold, and a reputation built on doing things the right way. When you hear nobody but Nimnick, that's 85 years of trust behind it. If you bought a car from Nimnick, serviced one, or participated in one of the causes, you're part of the legacy. So stop by and celebrate 85 years with Nimnick, corner of Park and Cassett. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
I remember being in the backyard, getting the football and throwing it up and running and go catch it. And then I'd be like for the crowd, and that's what I wanted to do. And I got an opportunity to do it.
1010XL.
It's what you dream of.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit HollisPools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Hey friends, Frank Frangie here. A new year is the perfect time to make sure your car is ready for the road ahead. And nothing gives you more confidence than a fresh set of tires from my friends at Big Chief Tire. I've trusted them for years. They take great care of me, and they'll take great care of you. Start 2026 with a smoother, safer ride. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today and let Big Chief get you rolling.
PRI Productions is the official game day production partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hi, I'm Randy Goodwin, president and owner of PRI Productions. Chances are, if you've been in Jacksonville over the last 30 years, you've seen our work, from corporate and social events to concert production and much more. We have the equipment and expertise to make your next event memorable. So call the experts at the Jaguars Call. PRI Productions, bringing your ideas to life.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Former Jags linebacker Tom McManus is here. Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks, as we now chat with Shireen Williams, Pro Football Talk writer and Hall of Fame voter. Shireen, thank you so much for joining our show again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, as always.
Absolutely. So obviously we know that the Hall of Fame vote has been in the news a lot, which it really shouldn't be quite yet. But either way, will you please start by explaining just how the process works, the voting process works for the people who have never been in that room?
Yeah, it changed before the class of 2025. So this is the second year of the current format. And I think this is an unintended consequence of what they've done. And it goes back to 2020, if you remember when Deion Sanders came out and said, hey, too many people being let in the Hall of Fame. Some of these guys aren't Hall of Famers. Maybe we need an upper echelon. Maybe we need to cut down on the number of players. So Hall of Fame went, talked to to Hall of Famers and said, what do you think? All of them said too many guys are being let into the Hall of Fame. We want to, keep it very exclusive. And so they listened. So that's what came out of it. So this began in the class of 2025 that the three seniors candidates, the coach and the contributor, are lumped together. So there's 5 of them, and you vote for 3 of the 5. So last year, the only one who got the required 80%, it used to be an up or down vote. Vote up or down. And if we were sitting here today with an up or down vote, we wouldn't even be talking about Bill Belichick. He would be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But it's not an up and down vote anymore. It's a vote for 3 of 5, and whichever the 3 of 5 get 80% get in. Last year it was Sterling Sharp. That's it. That's the only one of the 5 who got the required 80% to get into Pro Football Hall of Fame. It'd be interesting to see this year who gets in, and you can figure out the voting and kind of how many votes Bill Parcells got based on what the numbers are, how many got in. So how many seniors, took those votes away. Did Robert Kraft take those votes away? It will be interesting to see next week at the NFL Honors when we see who goes in, because all right now we know is that Bill Belichick didn't get in. And then on the other, it's 15 candidates, so you go from 15 to 10 to 7, and then at 7 you vote for 5 of them. And last year, 3 of the 7 finalists got into Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we had a four-man class last year, and I imagine it'll be 4 or 5 this year, about the same. And in previous classes, you can go back and look, it was 7 or 8 Hall of Famers that went in. So they've done what they wanted to do, but the unintended consequence, I think, is you have Bill Parcells left out of it. And I'm sure there were some voters who said, look, Bill Parcells the lock. I'm going to try to avoid what we had last year when only Sterling Sharp went in. I'm going to vote for the 3 seniors, or I'm going to vote for Robert Kraft and 2 seniors, and Bill Belichick will get enough votes. He's going in, and we'll try to get more than 1 in. I guarantee you there were some voters who looked at that. Did Spygate play a part? I guarantee you Spygate played a part. Armando Salguero, who presented Bill Belichick, has already said that it played a part. So we're not supposed to talk about what happened at the meeting, but he said it. So if you read Armando, you know that it did, and you know that it did anyway. Some people held that against Bill Belichick. And then I think the third reason is it's a decision to make, and some people just think players are more important than coaches or contributors, and are always going to vote for the 3 seniors candidates. I think we saw that with Bill Parcells, was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. At that point, coaches went in with the modern era guys, and voters would say, no, we're not putting the coach. It doesn't matter if it's Bill Parcells. As great as he was, we're putting in players. And I think it was his 3rd ballot before he actually went into the Hall of Fame. And there might have been some who said, hey, there's a chance Bill Belichick still comes out. Still comes back in coaching in the NFL. And I don't believe that he should just sit out 1 year. I believe it should be more than that. I don't know. I voted for Bill Belichick, so I can't say what all the reasons are. We've only heard from one voter publicly who said what his reasoning is. And we know that was because he voted for the 3 seniors.
Shereen, if that's the case when it comes to just the way that it was voted this time, do you see process change coming? Like, do you think the first ballot label is important enough for them to make changes to make something like that adjust a little bit?
I think they absolutely will. I think they have to after the outcry. And, we have outcry. I'm writing something right now. We have outcry every single year because people don't get in, whether it's Fred Taylor and Jacksonville, whoever it is, like the whole market goes nuts. Hey, Fred Taylor didn't get in. Hey, Adam Vinatieri didn't get in last year. Hey, Luke Kuechly didn't get in. So you have a lot of outcry and displeasure with the process every single year. That's not unusual. What's different about this one is I think it's been overwhelming. It's almost a thing where, you say, hey, if you're in a bar and 99 out of 100 people in the bar think that it was a catch, then it was a catch. I think it's the same thing as this. I think if you're in a bar, 99 out of 100 people are saying Bill Belichick should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I think because of that, the outcry has not died down. I don't expect it to die down. And unfortunately, the sad thing about all this is it's going to completely overshadow everybody who does go in. Because Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald, Jason Witten, or all of them could be first ballot Hall of Famers. And then you have those who are being selected over Bill Belichick, the seniors, or Robert Kraft. And it's all going to be about Bill Belichick. Well, Bill Belichick didn't get in. So I just think it's going to take away from those who do get in next week when we hear. So that's the sad part, I think, to me, that they're probably not going to be celebrated as much. But back to your point, I think because of this outcry and the fact that it's not dying down, and I don't expect it to die down, I think there has to be changes. I think Hall of Famers are going to stand up and say, this is stupid. We got to change this back. Why do we care how many guys get in? And a lot of those were the ones who said we don't want so many Hall of Famers going in. But maybe it's the thing where Dion talks about the upper echelon, the upper room. Maybe you have an upper room, and the Hall of Famers vote on that. Who's the upper room? These guys are in the upper room, and then this group is just regular Hall of Famers. However you want to do it. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is to the process. I don't know, but I do know that this process didn't work this year.
Shireen Williams here with us, NFL analyst for Pro Football Talk and NFL Hall of Fame voter. Shireen, great to have you on the show. Thanks for your time. Any trickle-down effect for these other coaches trying to get in, more specifically our own coach, Tom Coughlin, trying to get into that Hall of Fame? What's the trickle-down?
No doubt, and I feel bad for them as well. So this is the third consecutive year that the coach hasn't gotten in. So if you had Buddy Parker get in, and you had Mike Harmon get in, and you had Bill Belichick get in, I mean, the next logical coaches that you look at are Mike Shanahan and Tom Coughlin. And I think in the next 2 years, they would be going in. Well, now there's really a backlog. And I used to be on the coaches committee. I'm glad I'm not anymore, because I think they face a really sort of tough decision next year. So are they going to say, hey, we're bringing back Bill Belichick, and we're going to roll the dice that he gets in, that this was a one-year punishment by a lot of people, and because of the outcry and everything, that we're going to put him back in? We're assuming the rules don't change, which I think the rules and the process change. But I'm just saying if it stays like this. And then, or do we look at one of these other coaches, a Tom Coughlin or a Mike Shanahan, or go back to Mike Holmgren and put one of them up as the coach candidate? So it's a decision that they're going to have to make in that subcommittee meeting to decide who comes back, or who is the selection for them to put on the finalist ballot. And then at that point, it'll be up to the voters again to figure out if they're going to vote for Bill Belichick if it's him. But it's very unfortunate, I think, for these other coaches who deserve to go in, that we suddenly can't get a coach into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, despite them changing the rules to make it easier, because you took them out of the modern era and put them in their own category, and now we're having a hard time getting them in over the last 3 years.
Shireen, are you allowed to say how many other women are on this committee outside of yourself or voting?
Yeah, I mean, it's public. Lindsey Jones, who's based in Denver, I think she's working for maybe the Ringer now. And Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland is on there. Lisa Salters from ESPN is on there. And that may be it. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody, but I think that may be all of us on the committee. This was my 20th year. I was the first female to vote for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and it's my 20th year to vote for it, and really the weirdest one that we've ever seen. I mean, when Paul Tagliabue didn't get in, or Terrell Owens didn't get in, or Drew Pearson didn't get in, there was some outcry, but not nearly to this extent, and almost to 100% support for the candidate who didn't get in. And that's what we've seen now, is almost 100%. I've seen a few on social media say, oh, yeah, he should pay a price for Spygate. He should be left out this year. But for the most part, I think it's probably running at, 90-95% at least on everyone saying that Bill Belichick should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I'm with them. I think it's embarrassing. I think he should be in first ballot.
Yeah, Shavina, I jokingly said, well, fine, and for Spygate, take one ring away. He still has 5 at that point in time.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about Fred Taylor. The whole conversation about Pro Bowls being mentioned with these Hall of Fame candidacies drives us nuts here in Jacksonville, especially once we saw that Shedeur Sanders is going to be in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's not become something that is used anymore simply because you have 100 Pro Bowlers almost every single year. I don't know exactly what the number is this year, but it got up to 100. And maybe it's not quite now because, like, offensive linemen, they don't replace, and, they just replace the skill position players. But nonetheless, guys don't want to go, which is why you see Shedeur Sanders going, because so many other quarterbacks turned it down. Everybody thought, Shedeur Sanders was picked over Trevor Lawrence. Have some sense. Shedeur Sanders was not picked over Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence turned it down, as did many, many, many other quarterbacks turned it down. Nobody wants to go and participate in a flag football game and do what they do, and it's not a free trip to Hawaii anymore. So I think we've kind of not used Pro Bowls or don't use them as much. I think it's more of a deal if they don't go to the Pro Bowl than it is if they have 7, 8, 9, 10 Pro Bowls. But yeah, it's become really a joke, I think, because I don't think that even if you want to replace them to the way it is now, then I think only the original Pro Bowlers should be called Pro Bowlers. I think it's just gotten to be too many and too many guys that we wouldn't call. Based on Shedeur Sanders, I don't think any of us would call that a Pro Bowl season.
Shireen, when you talk about the Jaguars in general, and it took some time for Tony Baselli to get in, and now we're talking about a Fred Taylor and a Jimmy Smith, does the smaller market conversation, just the national visibility that comes along with that or lack thereof at times, has that factored in, do you think, in moments?
I can't say no to that, because you look at what Cincinnati has fought to try to get their guys in. Anthony Munoz was one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time, and so he's in. But, Ken Anderson was on the ballot this year. So it's a battle, I think. And I do think that somewhat plays a part. Jeff Hobson does a great not Jeff Hobson. Sam, I think, is a presenter in Jacksonville. Yep. Does a great job presenting. Jeff Hobson is the presenter in Cincinnati, and they both do great jobs when they present their candidates. So it's not a matter of presentation, and it's not a matter necessarily of resume. I think they have good resumes, but I do think that sometimes plays a part in that they're just not on national TV, because let's say somebody in Kansas City, wherever, whatever market you want to talk about, is not going to see some of these players play unless they were on national TV or unless they play their team, which may not be all the time. So, yeah, I think that would have to probably play a little part. If they're not no-brainer first ballot Hall of Famers, and I guess I say that with an asterisk now since Bill Belichick didn't make it, and he seems like a no-brainer first ballot Hall of Famer. But, it's like Emmitt Smith, I've been in the room a few times when this has happened, and the presenter stood up and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present Emmitt Smith, the NFL's all-time leading rusher," and sits down. And that's it. Everybody claps. He's in. There's no discussion. We move on to the next candidate. And honestly, I thought that's what was going to happen to Bill Belichick. I mean, I didn't even consider that Spygate would be a discussion, and I just thought that people would say, "Yeah, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Let's move on." And the discussion was way longer than I imagined it to be. But if you're not that first ballot lock, where there is no discussion, there is no debate, there is no dissension, then I think I can't say that the small market doesn't play a part, because just they weren't on national TV by the voters to say, when I watched him play, he was a Hall of Famer. I'm having the same time. I didn't present Darren Woodson this year, but I have presented Darren Woodson many times. 18 years he's been eligible. When I watched him play, I saw a Hall of Famer. And I The coaches will tell you that. Bill Parcells will tell you that. Jimmy Johnson will tell you that. It's not just me saying that. If you talk to people, he was a Hall of Famer. But it's the same deal, even in a big market, of people didn't watch him play, and there's not really those stats to say how important he was to the defense. Tackles aren't an official stat. That's what he did. So it's hard to convince voters that, yeah, I know this guy doesn't have a ton of stats, but when you watched him play, he was great. And I think we're to a point now when a lot of voters didn't actually watch Darren Woodson play because they weren't born or they were very young and not looking at football the way we look at football now if you're in the business.
He was a heck of a player. There's no doubt about that. Shireen, what about Hall of Fame players current? Would you ever listen? Like if they came up and said, hey, I played against Freddie Taylor. I'm Ray Lewis. I played against Freddie Taylor. Absolutely. He was the toughest running back I went against. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Would you listen? Like, would that be part of the process for you? And is it used enough or is it used at all in these kind of presentations?
That is way more important than I just talked about Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells. Yeah. Okay, they're biased because they coached him. So to me, it's way more important that that guys who played against them or come out and say that. So Darren Woodson's case, it would be a Jerry Rice. If you can get a Jerry Rice or Steve Young or whoever it might be that played against them to say, look, he's a Hall of Famer. That I think that carries more weight than a coach or a teammate did. And I guess Parcells really coached against Darren Woodson. So, but it's just it carries more weight because they are the ones that prepared for them and they know what they brought to the game. And they don't have that bias that perhaps a coach or a teammate would have. Yeah. Look, I'm all for what I would like to see happen is I would like to see this turned over to the Hall of Famers. Just make it their Hall of Fame and have the living Hall of Famers vote. And I think we'd still have some of the same complaints because guys are going to vote for their teammates. They're going to vote for players that played for the same team that they played with. And I think you're going to have perhaps more bias than what you have now, but it's their Hall of Fame. So I would not be opposed at all for them to just turn this over to the Hall of Famers and have them make the decisions on who the Hall of Famers are every single year.
I love that idea. Yeah. Well, Shireen, I know you've been bombarded with requests since all of this happened earlier this week and the news broke that Belichick will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So thank you so much for spending all this time with us.
Thank you, guys.
We so appreciate it.
Thanks,
Shireen Williams, Pro Football talk writer and Hall of Fame voter. And as she mentioned, the first female to vote for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And she's been voting for 20 years. So we really appreciate when she joins us and all that really good insight. All right, more to do on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
From the edge of your radio to the edge of your seat. Showtime! Feel the excitement of live play-by-play.
And this place is rocking right now.
On 1010XL.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, garagedoor911.com.
Checkmate.
I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the adorable chess man on the trucks.
There are two things you should ask yourself about your garage floor. How clean is it now, and how clean would you like it to be? A typical bare concrete floor doesn't just collect dirt, it makes dirt.
It is literally made of dirt.
As much as you sweep and mop, the dust and grit just never ends.
And drips from your car seep into the pores, staining the concrete forever.
A Checkmate multi-layer floor resists drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
Happy New Year, sports fans. Hicken here, and let's keep the skincare talk going while we ring in the new year. You know it's winter, a little cold outside. That sun is still shining, so let's always be reminded to take care of our skin. Beaches Dermatology now has a new location open in Fernandina. So if you live just a little north of Duval, you can now see the pros at Beaches Dermatology without having to make the drive to Jax. Go online to beachesdermatology.com to book your skincare appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
Get your tickets for the Tom Coughlin J Fund Wine Tasting Gala. Join Super Bowl winning coach Tom Coughlin at Vi-Star Ballpark Thursday, March 5th and raise a glass to help local families tackling childhood cancer. Enjoy hundreds of wines from around the world and food from top local restaurants. Buy tickets and learn more at tcjfund.org/wine. tcjfund.org/wine.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Thanks again to Shireen Williams for joining us from Pro Football Talk and one of the first female to ever vote for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
So cool.
I think it's unbelievable that Tom Coughlin's not in yet, obviously. It is going to be challenging for Fred Taylor when you see how many different players, really good players, are ahead of him. I would like to think that in my lifetime, I see Fred Taylor in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you'd like to think that. It's just every year there's new guys. You know, and then you see guys that are waiting with Fred, and you're like, yeah, he's pretty damn good. He's not the same position, but just different players. But you would think that Freddie would get there. Coach Coughlin should be there, in my opinion. You know, one thing he doesn't get enough credit is he took the Jaguars to 2 AFC championship games in their first 4 years of existence. And then he went to New York and won 2 Super Bowls. So that should give him a little bit of oomph. I'm looking
against Belichick, who was supposed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but now Belichick will block Tom for another year.
For another year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes the whole thing with not Bell. It's just whatever. I don't know.
The one thing, there's a couple things when Shireen was talking about. Number one, you asked the question about how much, when it comes to players and how much you listen to them and them going against. And she said they do, and that's most important. But if that was the case, then I feel, or more important than coaches, if that were the case, Fred would be in, because you're not talking to any player that went against Fred that said he wasn't one of the best that he went against. So to me, it makes me feel like, which everything in the world has politics involved, and they're never going to tell us that, and I can't even ask Shireen that because I know it's not going to be a conversation that she can or will want to get into, but there has to be that side of the political stuff of, when you're talking to players and coaches, and it's just, you have that extra, you don't like that team because they beat you every single year, or the player and all of these things, or you have your guys and you want your guys in the Hall of Fame. And that's where it gets so tricky, because I think that plays with the smaller market, a team that hasn't been around as long as a lot of these other teams. You don't have the ties to like the deepness of some of these coaches and players that have been watching football. And so maybe eventually that changes the longer that the Jags are around. But there has to be that something kind of lingering when it comes to a Fred Taylor and a Jimmy and even Tony. It took too long for Tony to get it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to have a cutoff of when do you count the Pro Bowl? Because like when Freddie was playing, that mattered. Making the Pro Bowl then mattered. I mean, it wasn't just the fans.
Yeah.
It was, the writers. It was the players, whatnot. Just a collective. It wasn't as much of a fan favoritism, it seemed. But you're going to have to cut that off. Now, as far as former players, look, I'm sure guys would vouch for their teammates, but I think the real OGs would be like, nah. Just like Deion said, he's like, look, it's the Hall of Fame. It's the best of the best. Not everybody's a Hall of Famer.
Not the Hall of Very Good.
You can't let everybody in. And I get that, right? And that doesn't mean these other players aren't great players. They're just not Hall of Fame type players.
But he'll retire his son's jersey after 1 year.
Yeah, Dion will.
Yeah.
I remember when Tony went in, he was number 355 in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. When he was enshrined 3 years ago, he was number 355. And so obviously now there's been 2023, 2024, and 2025 all added to that. So that still feels like a very small group of people in comparison
Select.
to the thousands and 1000s of people that have played in the NFL
over 100 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
And look, Tony to me was a perfect example of, because I always felt like, look, I know it hurt him, the length of career.
The lack of
Now, his number of games wasn't bad. It was near where Dwight Stevenson was, Terrell not Owens, Davis, the running back.
Davis,
he only had 7 years. I always felt like with Tony, though, so you look at the guys from his era that went in. You had Orlando Pace, Jonathan Ogden. You had Walter Jones from Seattle, who was really good. And then you had Willie Rowe from the New Orleans Saints. All tremendous left tackles, correct? Tony was as good or better than anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's best of all five. I don't know if I could say that because there were a couple that were really, really good. Walter Jones was considered one of them, but he wasn't better than Tony.
Yeah.
So Tony was as good as every one of those. So to me, those four are in, how do you not have him?
If you're the best at your position in the NFL, of all the guys in the league at that time, for a period of time, if you are the absolute best, and everyone at that point in time when Tony was playing left tackle said he is the best for the time that he played, then you should be in the Hall of Fame.
How about all-decade team gets you in? By the way, Belichick, 2 decades. Coach as a coach.
Yeah.
How does that?
It's called egg on their face, that committee. And you know what? I'm glad that around here, it's not Tom Coughlin that had this. If Tom Coughlin had 6 Super Bowl rings, he has 2, obviously. If he had 6 and they didn't put him in, the outrage that would be around here. We're talking about it because it's a national story.
Yeah, and further, look, I said this on Twitter earlier, but everyone's like, well, Belichick and Brady separated. He didn't win as much, but every coach needs a quarterback. I mean, Dungy had Manning, then he had Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so,
the defense for the Patriots was also really good early on.
Yeah, the culture and all that. So, I don't diminish his record because he didn't have Tom Brady. Every coach needs a quarterback. I mean, every one.
Or you ain't winning.
Or you're not, even in college ball, we talk about that all the time. If you don't hit on the QB, man, you're not going anywhere.
You got that right. All right. Before we hit it to the pest of the day on the other side, we will now talk about Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
All right, you called it earlier, Tom, about Lauren's Lane. It's going to be about Florida men's basketball. Florida beat South Carolina last night, 95-48, which is unbelievable. Florida now 15-6 overall, 6-2 in SEC play. But here's the stat that I wanted to give y'all. Florida had 28 assists. 28. If you compare that to a normal game, most teams probably average around 15 assists. So 28 is wild. But South Carolina shot 26% for the game. They went 3 for 20 from deep, and they finished with, this is what I can't believe, they finished with 0 second chance points last night.
Oh, wow.
0 second chance points. So if you're Lamont Paris, you're the head coach of South Carolina.
That's offensive boards, right? Is that what that means?
Yeah, you are getting those guys in the gym today, and probably what Todd Golden did to Florida after they lost to Auburn. That's what Lamont Paris with South Carolina is, I'm sure, doing to them today.
3 for 20.
3 for 20 from deep, which some nights you're off shooting.
Yeah, I mean, the Gators were 7 for 27 in that game previous.
The loss to Auburn.
It sounds like they weren't following their shot very much.
That's an effort thing.
No, it is.
You have the defending national champions coming in. Exactly. All right, Pest of the Day on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels. 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Hey, folks, it's Frank Frangie for Lee and Kate's Glass. And I think you deserve a spa-like shower, don't you? Get rid of that dirty, dated setup you have in your bathroom. Those old-style showers can be really ugly. Install a gorgeous frameless shower with thick, sexy glass and a free diamond coating protection that's easier to clean, like Rain-X for your shower. Your bathroom will feel like a luxury spa every morning and night. You deserve it. Visit my friends at leeandkatesglass.com.
You're gonna see a big difference.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, poker players and sports fans. It's cold outside, but the action is hot inside. Turn game day into payday at Aces Sports Bar inside Best Bet St. Augustine. Catch all the playoff football and college basketball on our big screens and play your hand at the tables. Plus, score $100 for touchdowns during selected pro football games and $500 every 30 minutes at the table games. Get all the exciting details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Are you ready for another historic season at the bank? It's time to lock in your seats for 2026 by placing your deposit now. Next season will be played at Everbank Stadium, but seating capacity is limited due to in-bowl renovations, and spots are going fast. Don't miss out on your chance to see the season's biggest matchups and highlight real moments by placing your deposit at jaguars.com/tickets or by calling 904-633-2000. Go Jags!
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air, a definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. Huh, I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Before we turn things over to the Frangie Show, which will be live at UNF Arena ahead of UNF playing host to Stetson in men's basketball tonight. That one tips off at 7 o'clock. It is time for the Pest of the Day, as always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They take care of all the pest control issues at Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town, as well as our house. They have fantastic technicians. They do such a great job, so contact my friends at Terminix today. The Pest of the Day, I can't remember if I've already used X or Twitter because obviously I got hacked and then they haven't resolved it. But Joe Cowart got his Twitter back and I still don't have mine. And so that's why.
So who's the pest, Joe?
No. It's X or Twitter or whatever.
Joe C.
Whoever the lack of people that work at that place at this point in time, like
the robots.
Yeah, I was second. It was Hicken first. He still hasn't gotten his back. Mine second that got hacked. And then Joe's. But Joe's is already back. So I'm super happy that he was able to get his back. But at this point in time, come on.
Yeah.
Get the rest of us back.
It's definitely a pain in the butt. We dealt with that, like, not this last summer, but the summer before here on the 1010 social channel. And it's awful because you can't talk to, and everything's robots. And so it's like automatic replies and this and this and this. And so it's aggravating in that sense. And then you feel like you're getting close and then you're like, never mind. It starts all over the process that you have to fill out all these different things of what went wrong and why you deserve your X or Twitter back.
Right.
And
I deserve it. Dang
you
it.
do.
I deserve it. I didn't do anything wrong except clicking the link. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
2-Minute Drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hey, Carline, how about that South Carolina shellacking last night?
Yeah, that was dominant, about as dominant a game as you'll see. Florida's largest SEC road win ever. They shot 62%, outscored South Carolina 32-3 on the fast break. Just a blistering performance, 28 assists, a perfect basketball game. So it's exactly what they needed, and hopefully they'll be able to carry that momentum into Sunday's game against Alabama. We're here at UNF tonight, and certainly thrilled to be here. It's a big game for UNF, who's playing well. They've won 3 of their last 4. Cameron Oriole playing out of his mind, averaging 20.8 points per game this season, but it's been even hotter than that recently. So, and it's a grade A Sun race. I mean, once you get beyond the top 4, there's like this massive jam, and UNF and JU are right in there. So big game tonight for the Ospreys. We're looking forward to having Bobby Kennan with us. The head coach of UNF, Nick Morrow, the AD, will join us as well. And Lee Smith will talk golf with us, the executive director of the Players Championship. So big time Frangie show coming up. We're excited about it, and hope fans come out to UNF tonight and watch a great game against Stetson.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much, Hayes.
All right, thank you.
And by the way, also tonight, you can listen to JU as they play host to Lipscomb. That game tips off at 7 o'clock, and you can hear that on 10:10 a.m. So lots of basketball. Obviously, yeah, get out to Swisher Gymnasium for JU. Get out to UNF Arena as UNF plays host to Stetson. By the way, since he mentioned golf, Hayes did, and they're going to have Lee Smith on. Brooks Koepka made his PGA Tour, not debut, but I guess re-debut. However you determine that. He is currently 1 over, and he is tied for 102nd, and he's through 12.
What are your feelings towards that, being very anti-live? Are you like, you're back, so I appreciate you, or you left, so no?
Yeah, I don't love that the PGA Tour allowed Koepka and also now Patrick Reed back. Like, I would have liked them to go through a worse punishment than just the financial stuff. But at the end of the day, if I look at it from the better, broader point of view
of golf,
the sport of golf and of the PGA Tour, like we have to, we being the PGA Tour has to do what's best for the PGA Tour, and having Brooks Koepka rejoin the tour is what's best for the tour because he is really good at the majors. And so I'm trying to be more open-minded about it, but I would have liked for them to have had to go through some sort of like rookie hazing, even though they're not rookies.
Maybe they will.
Like
Maybe
some sort
of
of
the
hazing
Players Championship, they have to do something
like the Belichick year off. You got to wait a year.
Yeah,
right.
You have to,
We're not getting in right away.
I mean, like actual hazing. Like
I want to see Koepka and DeChambeau go
violence.
You want to see?
They have a feud, don't they? DeChambeau and Koepka, don't they?
Right, but DeChambeau's not coming back.
He's not coming back. He's all live.
He's staying with Liv.
Well,
which he makes a ton of money
talks.
on his YouTube channel. DeChambeau does. So I guess, and plus he makes money with Liv, as we know. Although none of us will ever know how much they actually were paid to go over there and play unless one of them tell us, and I don't think they will. But I guess I appreciate that there are people that are much more open-minded and willing to forgive than me, because I probably would have said, stay away for life because you made this decision and screw you.
Yeah, and kind of Brooks being like, I made a mistake almost. Like, I feel like, and not saying he hated being over there or whatever, but clearly he felt like being on the tour was bigger and better, and he liked that more and wanted to come back, because if not, you're making what we've heard, the numbers they're making over there are absolutely insane.
But you barely get to play in the United
so
States
if you
of
actually
America.
love golf and US, and because that was a lot of it too, like the competitiveness of the
you're
golf
playing
over
3
there.
rounds instead of 4. But at the end of the day, I will look at it, like I said, from the perspective of how do we grow this game? And if Koepka rejoining the PGA Tour, I don't know how Patrick Reed necessarily grows the game other than people love to hate him. But Dazed and Confused, the freshman hazing that they did with the paddles.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would have liked to see.
Who says you can't go home, LB, right? They're letting them back
Thomas
home.
Wolfe once said, you can't go home again.
I mean, I don't know. To me, play wherever. I don't ever watch Live. I don't, but I'll watch
Nobody does.
Right, so, I think,
That's
the
why
money's great, but
that's why they should never have left.
glory's
in my
better.
opinion. All right, that'll do it for us today. Remember, Frangie Show live at UNF Arena. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Thanks again to Shireen Williams for joining us.